Welcome, everyone. This is Aaron Kleinerman coming from Nashville. Actually, I'm out in a small town called Jackson, a little outside of Nashville. I'm staying with my beautiful girlfriend's family here for the holidays. And I wanted to bring you all here tonight to discuss how to stay focused, how to stay clear within yourself, within your family around the holidays, what that looks like, why that's important, etc. So, what we're going to be discussing here this evening is about your values. It's about how you show up in the world. It's about how you show up with your family. I have a little PowerPoint presentation. This is the first time for me. I'm doing the Google Hangout, so we have a little communication challenges, but that's part of what comes forward when we're doing and bringing things new into the world. I will be going in between my beautiful face and the PowerPoint that I have presented for you. I'll be discussing some pretty clear, specific questions around focus and clarity and inspiration in your life. And ultimately, it can increase the communication, increase and enhance everything that you are putting together and bringing out into the world for yourself and for other people in your life. So I'll tell you just to start a little bit about myself and where I am coming from. Let me just switch over to the PowerPoint. So, Aaron Kleinerman, that's me. Who am I? Well, there's many titles that we all have that any one of us can have, and depending on the context of where we are and the people we're talking to. So, I'm a captain, unlimited tonnage. I do speaking and conferences and workshops all over the world, helping people get in touch with their unique, innate genius that's inside of them. A teacher, a traveler. I've traveled all over the world. By the time I was 30, I'd been to over 50 countries and still getting at least three to four new countries under my belt every year. It's part of my goals, inspiration. It's what inspires me. It's what's highest on my values. Been a poet since I was about 18. Got in touch with a very poetic, inspirational voice inside me while traveling and being under the high seas as a merchant mariner. Photographer, some of you may have seen some of my photography out there in the internet, on Facebook, in a variety of different facets with my photography. Venture seeker, life coach. I do one-on-one life coaching with CEOs, everyday normal human beings, people all over the world in a variety of different forms, taking them on adventures, hiking, kayaking, many different aspects into the world that's ultimately bringing their unique genius, their wisdom from within out into the world. And I've been teaching and facilitating meditation for many years. So why are we here? I won't take up too much of your time, and you might be watching this after the live event, but let's talk about the holidays. Let's talk about what happens when we come around family, kids, parents, a lot of food, events, what required activities, question mark, are we supposed to go to? And holidays can really be a joyous, amazing time. They also can bring up certain past emotional challenges that maybe you haven't dealt with, things that are still lurking and linking into your system that maybe your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, they bring them out into your awareness. So the holidays is that time of, it's a lot of duality, because at one point it's great to be in the joy and the bliss of being with family and the love, but at the same time, those same family members are the ones that really can push your buttons, that can move you and bring up things inside of you that you haven't felt for sometimes many years. So part of what we are discussing in this format is about enabling you to be really clear on your priorities, what is highest on your value system, so that when you're in these holiday possible stressful situations, you're enabling yourself to communicate in a more loving, caring, authentic, genuine way. I know for myself, when I am around my family, they do have an ability to occasionally push my buttons. I appreciate it. I do like the challenge of that. That is why the work I do in the world is life beyond comfort, because I feel when we are consistently at that edge between comfort and discomfort, that's where we grow. That's where we are continuously challenged to bring out the best into the world. I'll be discussing a lot this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whenever you are watching this, about becoming a student of your emotions. What does that mean? What does that feel like? For me, it's about every day getting clear on what emotional reactions you're being charged by, what you're being repelled by, and being more and more clear in your inner self on how you then can show up more effectively, more clearly in the world when you truly become a student of your emotions. Be inspired by your family instead of resentful. How many of you would love to go home and just have levels of inspiration flow through you instead of all this emotional trauma and challenges that come forward with family, and not resent and not, oh, I wish you didn't do that 10 years ago. I'm still bothered by, that you made that decision, whether it's your mom, your dad, your son, your daughter. There's such a beautiful time right here and right now to let go, to surrender to what is, to surrender to the magnificence that you are, the magnificence of everyone around you is. It doesn't need to be January 1st. It doesn't need to be Christmas Day. Today is December 23rd, 2014. Now, right now, in this moment, whatever moment it is you are watching this, is a perfect moment to begin to let go. And you start to let go that pain, that frustration, that drama that person, that situation caused you. And you start to clear up space and time in your mind. You start to clear up a greater residence for the true universal ambiance, the true universal way of being that we have the capacity to actually live out in this world. That we're not meant to live in drama-filled existence where we're just living out these animalistic behaviors. We're magnificent, powerful beings that have a purpose, a mission, a vision, and a dream in the world. And the more that you, I, any one of us is clear on that dream, on that vision, then that's true inspiration. That is the true level of bringing your A game. It's bringing your A game and knowing that everyone else is, and you're loving them exactly the way that they are, not wishing that they were different, not having this ideological fantasy that you think you wanted some other way of being in the world. Just loving your family, your friends, your loved ones, who they are, as they are, no other way. And by doing that, you're gracefully creating conversations of your highest interest. When you can speak to other people in your highest values, what's most important to you, and begin to link that in terms of what's most important to them, you enhance your ability to be effectively greater in communication, greater in the love, authenticity that you bring to that relationship. And ultimately, then, the decisions that you're making are not from an imbalanced mind. They're not from a space of only seeing the illusions in your world. They come from a soul-centered decision-making space. And I'll share with you just briefly a pretty powerful realization that happened to me quite a few years ago, and it was around my family. It was at a point where I had done a lot of inner work in my life. I had had a lot of frustration, a lot of hatred for my own mom, and a beautiful, magnificent woman in the world. But there was a lot of decisions that I felt she made in our childhood and growing up, and some of the challenges that I went through. At one point, we had to go through being on welfare, and there was just a lot that I went through as a child. And all throughout my teenage years and in my 20s, there was just this sense of resentment and space that when I saw her, I just didn't feel that love for her. I didn't feel that real appreciation. And for me, when I not only got clear on my own priorities, and I got clear on how I was showing up in the world, and I did my inner work, and I went in and I did the ability to dissolve the emotional charges, to get rid of the emotional baggage. I had an experience with her sitting on my beautiful boat in Los Angeles quite a few years ago, and we just sat together and came to tears, came to absolute tears of gratitude for her, for me, for the life that she helped give me. And having that moment, having that space was just exquisite. It was a space that I can't really go back to. It's a space that forever stays in my mind. And from that moment on, my level of communication with my own mom, the woman who brought me into this world, has been forever different. And I brought you back just to my face, because I don't want just to be a PowerPoint the whole time. I want you to get a sense of where I'm coming from. And anything I'm sharing in this, anytime I'm speaking on stage, anywhere I am in the world, I'm coming from a space of any lessons I go through are the same lessons that any one of you can go through. We all have the ability within ourselves to grow, to learn, to create absolute abundance in our wealth, in our family, in our vocation, everything that we're doing. And we do that by doing the inner work. We do that by learning to become a student of our emotions. We learn that by learning and understanding what's most important on our value systems. So I'll be discussing more of that here. I'll be getting into the deep intricacies of what that means as something highest on your values. But I'm real just like you. I still go through struggles every day. I still have all the same challenges as any one of you. So if you're watching this and you feel that, I've more advanced or less advanced or whatever it may be, we're all having our unique experience in this world. We're all having our unique set of emotions as per our unique DNA intelligence. And the wisdom that comes up through you, through me, through anyone else is absolutely brilliant. And the more anyone gets in touch with that wisdom, there's nothing that compares to it. There's nothing that can truly compare to that space of brilliance as it comes through you. So I'll go back to the PowerPoint, but just really want you to feel the same challenges that you're going through. Might not be the same thing I went through, but we always have it at any moment in our life, an equal amount of both support and challenge, kindness and cruelty, goodness and badness. It's when we transcend and we appreciate the good and we appreciate the bad. We see how the disadvantages of the good and the advantages of the bad, the disadvantages of the kindness and the advantages of the cruelty, and we synthesize them and we bring them into the state of love, the state of truth. That's when we can go back into our family, go back into our loved ones, and have a greater, more loving state of peace, state of not peace, but inner peace, inner way of being. Because to think that all of a sudden I'm going to create a more peaceful world isn't necessarily appreciating the benefits of war. And I get into that more with the students and the coaching I do, but essentially everything has its purpose. Everything has its equal amount of advantages and disadvantages. So I'll discuss that more as we're going along. Back to the PowerPoint here. So an inspired self, master your life and master your emotions. Why are we doing this? Why are you bothering to watch this video? Why are you bothering to come to this hangout? We're doing it to enhance our communication. If I can effectively communicate better with my beautiful girlfriend, with my mom, with my dad, with any loved ones in my life, with the woman who serves me at the restaurant. If I can speak to them from a space of truth, from a space of grace, and meet them where they are, then everything that we're doing in the world has meaning. When I can serve someone and just put a smile on my own face, put a smile onto their face, then our life has a greater purpose, has a greater feeling, has a greater mission inside. And as we're doing that, we're able to increase the productivity, because what's incredible about our mind is that when we are actually living in our highest values, and we're not subordinating to an outside influence, and we're not putting people down into the pits and thinking that we're better. We're just doing what's naturally and intuitively greatest and best for us in terms of our highest priorities, what we naturally and will always increase the productivity of everything that we're doing, because our mind has a neuroplasticity inside of it that actually feeds and congruently, continually grows in that direction. There are cells that say yes when we do things to our highest values, and are so joyfully thankful when we're not making decisions that are feeding our resentments and our subordinations. And ultimately, what is truly incredible is that the congruency you create between your mind and between your heart is that your mind gets to be quiet and your heart gets to make decisions. Your heart actually is the one that leads you forward into the world, recognizing the balanced and equilibrated mind. And it makes decisions that bring your authenticity into the world, your purpose, your wisdom out into the world. So Socrates has a great quote that says, "A system of morality which is based on relative emotional values is a mere illusion, a thoroughly vulgar conception which has nothing sound in it and nothing true." Feel that. See how that resonates inside of you. Essentially, he's recognizing that the emotional values that we take, these emotions of anger, of betrayal, of goodness, of happiness, sadness, they're all illusions. The truth exists in love, and love is the synthesis of these complementary opposite emotions. So I'm speaking a lot about values. What exactly are values? Well, one of my great teachers that I continue to study with, and really is a master philosopher, Dr. John D. Martini. One of the things that he mentions a lot is voids determine your values. Where are your voids? So if you look at your childhood, if you look at your life, I look at in my own life and my siblings as well. Growing up, my parents never really had their finances quite right. They had a very loving, caring, amazing household, but in terms of financial management, yeah, it wasn't what they did incredibly well. My sister took that, and she now manages billions of dollars around the world for a very and investment management firm. My brother, on the other hand, took that his voice, seeing my father not really fulfill his own wisdom and intelligence as a master teacher, philosopher in academia. So now he's a master teacher, speaks all around the country in terms of philosophy, presidential scholar. For me, I felt a great void as a child from not having a lot of adventure, not having a lot of travel. And the moment I had a chance to spread my wings and fly, I started flying and adventuring and feet on the ground all over the world. It's something I still continue to do. It's part of my own mission. It's helping inspire people to out of the confines of their own life and see the beauty of humanity, to really get in tune with everything out there. So fulfillment comes through fulfilling your perception of empty voids. I felt like I didn't have a lot of it as a child. So there's a strong void for that for me. So that what I adventure and travel is high on values, right alongside health and wellness, two things that I spend a lot of time and energy around. Napoleon Hill called this our chief aim. The Greeks mention this, our telos, our calling, our end in mind, being inspired from within. The telos is that state that's not from the mind. It is from our soul. It's from our spirit. It's what drives us. It's what moves us. It's what gives us the level of inspiration in our lives. So why are important in your life? You're most reliable in doing whatever we feel help us fulfill our highest value. When I am out traveling, when I am out teaching, when I am out meeting clients and doing coaching around the globe, that is fulfilling my highest value. I get to travel, I get to serve people with the wisdom from within my being, I get to tell stories, I get to go on adventures. So I am very reliable in terms of catching flight time, in terms of scoping out and mapping out our trip. Even this last trip I just took through Thailand with Koya. I was showing her all these neat navigation apps and all these different ways to get around. I'm very reliable when it comes to travel because it's very important to me. I love sharing that. I love telling people about places. When I start out in the world and if I'm at a park, I tend to talking about travel or helping. These are the things that are on my mind. And in what's important is that inside of me, if I'm walking through a mall, if I'm out the world. I have a great passion for these adventure things. I have a keen attention. My intentions are all met based upon goals and visions year after year about getting to new countries, about service in the world, being gorgeously and handsomely paid for doing that. And you'll notice I'll start to get in shortly some questions for you. It's pretty interactive. Is you have increased patience and perseverance for your highest value. So you'll find yourself being very patient when it's something very important to you. Something important, you tend to whisk it away. But you have a lot more perseverance and patience for the things that are truly important. Another good quote here: whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Napoleon Hill. It's a pretty powerful representation of how truly infinitely capable we are in every facet. So what happens when we are living incongruently to our highest values? Well, have you ever heard yourself saying, I should do this, or I ought to do that, or I was supposed to do that, or need to, or must to, or got to, or have to? Well, these are all languages. It's imperative language of often our subordination to other authorities. It's saying that, oh, I really need to go take care of that because someone was trying to tell me I think that's what's best for me. But is that really what you would love to? When you listen to your language, especially around your family, write down or become clear when you're saying, oh, I need to do that. I have to take care of this. And you'll find yourself much more clear and aware of what that means when you're having discussions with your loved ones. What language do you find yourself using around your family, at work? Are you inspired at work? Part of these whole questions is about bringing that inspiration back into your work. And when you're creating and you're living as to the should, ought to, supposed to, you create these unreal expectations, which then, as a result, create the anger, the aggression, the blame, the betrayal, all this drama, the criticism, the challenge, the despair, the depression. All of these things are what comes forward as the challenge each and every aspect of your highest value because you are subordinating to others. What happens as well during the holidays? Sometimes when we just want to numb out and not really focus with what's most important truly in our lives, we tend to eat a bit more because eating is a natural way of just numbing out. So if you find yourself very full, maybe you're putting your emotional charges into your food. Just a little food for thought for you. So the benefits of being in alignment with your highest values: you have an increased connection and love within your family, greater personal integrity to your goals, more ownership of your world. Why hide yourself? You're magnificent. So your world, when you truly own your highest values, when you truly own and understand what is most important in your life and you have clarity around that, then you take ownership of it. You shine. You say, yeah, I am actually doing that. I am that artist. I am that teacher. Whatever it is that inspires you, you go home. You don't care about what your family says because you know it deep down inside your heart, they're going to love you no matter what. They are absolutely going to adore you no matter what. So part of you taking ownership in yourself and not subordinating to what you think you should do, what you think somebody else you should do, is owning your magnificence. There's no point in yourself anymore. Don't bother with it. Own yourself. Take personal responsibility and ask yourself every day, how can I serve magically, magnificently, with the wisdom inside of me, according to my highest values? And when you get into that space of service, that space of absolute truth, then you just shine brilliantly. So I was discussing the other day at a talk I was doing in Marina Del Rey in California about why retire if you love what you do? What's the point of retiring? Often you'll hear your family say, or this kind of old paradigm, oh, you got to save up all this money for retirement. But if you're truly loving what you're doing, if you're truly inspired by what you're doing, for one, abundance flows naturally to you. Oftentimes you're not as much getting the abundance, wealth, financial abundance into your life because you haven't necessarily linked all the areas of where you are truly abundant, but also there might be a vision of, oh, life will be all of a sudden greater in the future when I retire, or when I finish that job, or when I do this, or when that happens. And it's always a when in the future, and it's in the future. And when that happens, or that happens. If you felt yourself saying that for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever time frame that is for you, now, today, December 23rd, whatever day this is you are watching this, is your day to change that. It's your day to get very clear on what your highest values are so that you can live a life of inspiration and purpose. There's nothing else that truly matters, at least to me, than living a life of inspiration, purpose-filled, soul-filled, spirit-filled decisions, lifestyle, everything, because you don't have to subordinate to somebody else's system. Nobody's going to tell you. A lot of people might try to make a lot of money telling you the way you should live your life. All I'm telling you is the more clear you are with your own wisdom, your own intelligence, then you will naturally and intuitively find the answers that you are seeking because they're right there inside of you. And when you get clear on a way of resolving all of your fears, your phobias, your challenges, that's when we get to the good stuff. That's when we get to the stuff that is of greatest value, of greatest importance, and the most priority in our life. And it will make you a great son, daughter, spouse, mother, father, uncle, aunt, grandmother, grandfather, whoever you are that shows up in this world. You'll be even that better. You'll be even that much more magnificent and loving. So we're going now to ask a few interactive questions in terms of value determination. So I'm going to switch over, see what I get for timing here. I don't want to run this call too late, but value determination. These are going to be 13 questions. I want you to now to take out a pen, a paper, a little spreadsheet next to your computer. And yes, go ahead and do this. And you might say, oh, I'll just do it later. I just want to watch the video. No, go ahead right now. Go find a piece of paper, find a pen, open up a new Pages document, a new Microsoft Word document, and go through this step by step. You will be highly, highly grateful that you did this, and it will just bring a lot of clarity into your life. The workshop I just did the other night, well, the short discussion I just did the other night, the feedback from just a few of the men that were there, you could see this eye-opening space inside them because some of the questions, some of the awarenesses that came into their life was incredible. And when I can see just that space of, wow, that person's world, that person's consciousness, that individual's thought process was greatly changed in a half-hour discussion, an hour discussion, whatever it may be, then I love that. I love changing around some of that ionic balance inside the mind, starting to see the world from a slightly different angle, because ultimately it's only going to continue to help in your own growth and evolution. I'll be back to you in a little bit. So here we are. If I can get this up. We are on value determination. So the first question I'll ask you is, how do you fill your primary personal and professional space with most? What do you have around you. If I were to catch you on a flight and you fly a lot, what would you guarantee be holding in your hands or not put up in the stowaway? Or if your house was in flames and you had 1 minute to go into your house, what would you grab? What is most important to you? Your house was flooding, your work was flooding, your workspace, and you had to grab something and put it in your possession. What is it that you would definitely need and want and desire to have in your possession? The more clear you are within that, for myself, when I'm traveling, I have books, I have my gadgets and apps for my traveling, and I always have good organic food and supplements, things that I continuously take with me. Health and wellness is high on my values, adventure and travel, and research and study. Those are all representing for me. So take a look at that, see what it is that shows up for you, um, and write that down. Next one, how do you spend your time first, second, and third when you are awake? So 24-hour period, what is the space where you spend the most amount of time? Where is it is it at work? Is it at home? Is it um, with your family? All of these different pieces. Where is it you are most in front of your computer? And when you're thinking about these things, think about what it represents to you. What does being at work represent? Does that represent making money to help support your family? Um, does it? What does it represent as far as your family, your social life, your vocational life, your mental life, your spiritual world? You spend a lot of time at church. What is it? What area of your world, your time, your energy do you spend the most? Take a moment to write it down, and we will continue on. And feel free to pause this at any point if you want a little bit more time to think about it. And those of you who are live, I expect you to stay up with me. So number 3, how do you spend your energy most, and what energizes you the most? What can you do right now after we get off this call, after you're finished with this little value determination workshop? What can you do that you know will energize you? You know, if you went outside or you went into the room, that you know would give you a great level of inspiration within. For me, if I was researching about a health retreat or some adventure travel places, or going out and doing some yoga, all the different things I know for me, that when I do it, my soul feels alive. My soul feels really good inside. Um, is it being of service at work? Working out, socializing, shopping, managing people, all these different ways that we spend our energy, and really recognize what all of those energizes most. Number 4, the big dollar bill one. Where do you spend your money most? Where, if I were to take your credit card statements and have access to them, where would I see the most amount of money spent? For me, when I am mine would definitely be on healthy organic food, restaurants, plane tickets for sure, research, study a lot of the places and coaches that I study with, because I value a lot research and study and continue my education as a coach, as a mentor, as a teacher. That's very important to me. So take a look at in your life, where is it that you spend the most amount of money? Is it for your kids? Is it buying clothes, social activities, entertainment? What does your credit card statements indicate? And our next one, where do you organize and order the most? What areas of your life, your family, your social, your financial, your physical, your spiritual, your vocational, your mental, and recognize we have the greatest organization. I know myself when I look at this next year, I can outline in my mind the different locations and countries and places and retreats that I'm going to. I can stream that out. If I had the exact flights of those already booked, I could probably give you the flight times. That's just what to me. I love getting out and about into the world and seeing that. Is it your workout schedule? You're eating your dietary regime. I know for me, I have a great order in having a smoothie in the morning, having a good um, lunch and a great dinner, making sure I have water throughout my day. Your financial house, your finances are impeccably organized. Your cooking arrangement, your children arrangement, your business agenda, all these different areas. And again, when you're writing down, indicate what it is that it represents to you. Where are you the most reliable, disciplined, and focused? If I were to ask you where you know you are reliable, where you know you are disciplined, where you know you are focused, is your studies, your workout routine, your appearance, your diet, your business, your family. Consistently, all the time, reliable, disciplined, focused. Because what you are, what is highest on your value, you will be consistently disciplined to do. Nobody has to ask you to continuously travel, to continuously seek out adventure, to continuously explore the people, the places, the experiences out in the world, because it feeds me, it feeds my soul, whether I just go for a walk on the beach and see a new angle of light hitting the boardwalk. These are all levels of exploration that I know I will always find ways of doing. Don't throughout the day, I'll make sure I have a great meditation. And that, for me, is part of that inner exploration. What do you inwardly think about the most? What are your most dominant thoughts? What are three things that dominant thoughts? Your mind will repeatedly focus on the things that mean something to you. Whatever's highest on your value, something that all shows up. You might be distracted by a phone call or something else going on, but your mind will always go back to what subject, what area, what part in your life. And you want to read this question to what's actually and gradually coming true. So what are you thinking about that's actually coming true the most? What are you thinking about that is gradually and consistently and actively true to your world? Number 8, what do you visualize and then realize the most? What are your visualizations? What do you see? Me, I've been visualizing myself speaking and teaching in front of thousands and millions of people across the globe, and that's actualizing in my life day after day. The more connections I make, the more places I'm visiting, the more lives I'm inspiring, the more hearts I'm opening. That's part of my visualization. That's part of my highest value in my travel, my teaching, and sharing techniques, simplicities in terms of their wellness, in terms of what is inspiring them is inspiring me. You're developing a great business. Again, feel free to pause it if you need to while you are thinking about visualize and realizing those in your life. What do you internally dialogue with yourself about most when you're having internal dialogue in the car? And throughout all of these questions, you're not writing out your internal dialogue. Well, I'm a terrible person. I didn't make that decision, or that wasn't right today, or I should do something different. Think about your choices of soul, your choices of inspiration, not the things that distract you, but the things you consistently do that is an internal dialogue that brings out your highest level of being. And these conversations, again, are consistently coming true. They're consistently um, coming alive into your world. If I were to take you to a party tonight out in, let's say, Hollywood or Florida or London, anywhere that you choose, and we started to have a conversation, or you met someone there, what would your natural tendency of interest guide towards? What would you begin talking to people about whom you just met? It could be anyone out of the street, and you just started the conversation. Or look at your past patterns. What, when you know you're out in a social setting, maybe you're always talking about your kids, your family. What is it that always comes forward that you don't even have to think about it, or you're just really inspired to talk about? Again, for me, I always find myself in conversation about health and wellness, about travel and adventure. Those are consistent things that always come true. I've asked anyone in my life, they'll say the same thing. It's been pretty true for me for a long time. The more for me, I've gotten clear on that and my own highest values, it's really enabled a great level of communication. And we won't get into that too much today, but I'll get into it on future discussions about linking highest values to other people, to your workforce, to being more engaged at your work, to be more inspired at your work. But this question, what do you talk about most to others when you're in social settings? What three things do you talk about most in social settings? Number 11, what inspires you the most? Where is your greatest level of inspiration that you experience in the world, that you love searching and studying masters and philosophers and people who are bringing the greatest level of truth? I get great inspiration for that when I'm studying and research into Socrates, into Plato, into many people who have really stepped forth outside the common box of society and brought new ideas, new ways of being, new ways of getting about, of exploring. I was always interested in people like Christopher Columbus, people who were natural born explorers. I remember when I was in college, there was this great book that the commandant of midshipmen at the academy I went to at the United States Merchant Marine Academy called Shackleton's Way. It was about an explorer, Shackleton, who was one of the first men to go across Antarctica, and it was his whole exploration across that pole, and it was just so intriguing, so fascinating to study more into the mind of the explorer, the mind of the seeker, the adventurer, somebody who's always wanting to know what's on the other side of that table, to know what's on the other side of that big mountainscape. I love when I'm out in the mountains and I come across a pass. I get like a childlike feeling of okay, what viewscape am I going to see at the top of the mountain? What am I going to come across? It's just going to fill me up inside when I come there. It's that feeling, that's inspiration. That is authenticity. That is truth. Number 12, what are your most consistent and persistent long-term goals that are coming true? What goals have you set for yourself, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even for this next year, that you see consistency coming true? If every year around January 1st you told yourself, I'm going to get in the gym, and you get in the gym for a week, and then you don't see the gym for another whole year, that's not coming true. What goals are you seeing being actualized in your life? And when you are setting these goals, you're willing to stretch, you're willing to take action. These aren't fantasies of one day life is going to be great when I have all this money. One day life is going to be great when you have all this. These are consistent and persistent goals that you have great patience with, that you persevere with, and gradually bringing them into reality. And number 13. What do you love learning, reading, studying, and listening about most? Are your shelves filled with what music is on your iPod? And what does this all represent? What is it? What's that feeling? What is it? Sensation inside in terms of the learning, the reading, the studying, the listening that really tunes you in, that really inspires you? What do you, if I were to take you into a bookstore right now, you and we go direct to what area? Is it the health area, the travel area, the psychology area, the romance, the sci-fi? What does that represent in your world? So with all of those 13 questions, each one has 3 answers. I want you now to take a moment and read through those. See what came up the most. See what area came up the most. I've done this value determination process quite a few times. Every time, or consistently, and always comes up is my highest values in terms of my travel, my adventure, health and wellness, and research and study. That's what my life dictates, and what my world dictates. In other areas that maybe aren't highest on that for me, I've been able to link greater, let's say, financial wealth to being able to travel, to explore, and many friends and family and people in my life recognize that. I continue to travel and explore the world, and now I'm getting to do that as I'm teaching and studying, as I'm sharing this message, sharing this level of being inspired, of being focused. So what this is all about, why we are here, is about that application. You're home for the holidays, just went through this, know what your highest values are, but do you necessarily know what the highest values are of your mom, your dad? We can take them through this process. That's why I put this up online. Feel free to take them through these 13 questions. They're there for you. If you want more information, you can always reach me at lifebeyondcomfort@gmail.com. My name is Aaron Kleinerman. But the application of these is with your family, it's with yourself, it's with your relationship. This is enhanced communication, because when you know what you bring to the table, when you know what your unique gift is into the world, everything, your world, the natural flow of your gifts, your wisdom comes through beautifully. Your vitality in life is directly proportional to the vastness of your mission, the vividness of your vision, the profoundness of your message. So your vitality, your increased longevity, your health, your wellness is about getting clear on what your highest values truly are. I know, I hope, and I'm very grateful that this information, this questions, these focus for you will bring you an increased level of communication, an increased level of appreciation, of gratitude for all of those who you spend these holidays with, for all of those that you spend every holidays with, for the rest of your life. Because in communicating to someone else's highest values, you show them a sense of appreciation, you show them a sense of listening, a sense of actually appreciating what they are saying, actually getting grateful for the words that are coming out of their mouth. And it's amazing what happens when we are truly present, when we're not thinking about what we're going to say next, and we're just simply listening and attuning to that unique being that's right there in front of us. I thank you all for coming out today, for your wisdom, for your intelligence, for your beauty in this world. Again, if you have any questions for me, feel free to reach me on my website, lifebeyondcomfort.com. I'm doing workshops, speaking engagements, bringing this work into corporations all across the country, all across the world, bringing employees with a greater engagement. Because when employees are more engaged at work, because they recognize the decisions, everything that they are doing is actually fulfilling their highest values, people are more productive, they're more effective, and they have greater clarity and focus on their individual purpose, their legacy, their mission that they leave into the world. I know you have that same. I know you have the inner resources to do so. I know you have everything you need inside of you. And let this be just another resource for you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Till we meet again. Aloha. Namaste.